Hey everybody, welcome to a live stream. I made these plant stands in a recent live, um, and now I want to try to protect them. They're made out of redwood. This is some old redwood deck boards that I repurposed. Um, someone was getting rid of their deck, and I figured, hey, why not use the boards for something? So this is one of the things that I'm using them for. So move the plants off of the stands for the moment so that I can try to protect them. All right. The first thing I want to do is, so these are going to go on the concrete floor or concrete driveway. And so I'm concerned that the end grain will want to soak up a lot of moisture. And so I want to protect the end grain first. And then I want to put a penetrating oil over the rest of it. So let me get set up for that. All right. Let's see if that works. Hey Steve, how you doing? My Honey's Handmade in the house. Everyone check out My Honey's Handmade. Got a cool channel. All right, so I want to put down a little bit of epoxy on the end grain to prevent moisture from wicking up. We don't like moisture wicking, at least not on these guys. So I've just got some inexpensive epoxy that I'm going to mix up. But before I do that, I'm going to put some tape around the ends of these. Now it's going to be a little tricky because I've got these angles on the feet. So hopefully I can get the tape in there so that it doesn't yeah, looks like I should have used a longer piece of tape here. So I want to make sure that I'll just get a bigger tape here. I want to make sure that the epoxy doesn't soak down the edges, that it just stays right on top. So I'm just making a little tape dam around the top here of each of them. And I'm not going to use a lot of epoxy. I just want a good coverage. And I just want to get that sealed in around it all. So I want to protect all of the end grain without getting any of the epoxy soaking down, running down the sides. that makes any sense to anyone. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. Anyone have any fun plans on this Tuesday? So, trying to get a good seal all the way up to the top. Steve's doing good. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Steve, do you do much with epoxy? For those of you that are unaware, Steve does a lot of wood turning on his channel. I just started doing some lathe work recently with my old 1830s Sears Roebuck lathe. Still trying to figure out the ins and outs. Steve's got a lot more experience and skill on his lathe than I do on mine. The prep on things is often much more time consuming and laborious than the actual thing. Kind of like painting. You know, the actual brushing on of paint isn't really that difficult. It's all the prep work beforehand that's so annoying. Taping things off and making sure things are primed and all the stuff. Of course, when I was younger, my first experience to like painting walls, just, you know, helping my parents and siblings when there were walls that either needed to be repainted or painted for the first time, like in our basement. And I felt pretty awful. I thought I did not like painting at all. And what I came to realize is that a lot of what I hated about painting back then was in large part because of the cheap paint that we were using. So it was very runny and it would go on very unevenly. So it was really difficult to get a nice coat. Be rolling it on and it just would not look good. Then, years and years later, I started doing some painting from my own houses, dreading it. But I got some decent quality paint and realized, oh, you know what? This goes on really nice. I just have to put on a single coat. You know, I was retouching, you know, touching up previously painted surfaces. Just put on a single coat and it goes on smooth and don't have to worry about fighting it. Like so much better than my previous painting experiences. Like if only I'd realized, pay a little bit more for the paint and it's a much, much better experience. Oh, let's see. Let me check in on chat here. Hey, Mike is making stuff. I would love the moment Pelado went live a bit more if this thing didn't default to horizontal rather than vertical. Not really a complaint. I wonder if there's a way to manipulate the hierarchy of what stream key gets the notification precedent. So when I'm doing the dual format stream like this, Mike, the notifications will always be to the horizontal. My understanding is that the only way to get to the vertical view version is by going through the shorts feed. So that can be a little difficult because it doesn't show up anywhere else. You have to just go into the shorts feed, find a live stream, and just any live stream, and then go to a live, and then just start scrolling through the live streams until you come to the correct live stream. So getting to the vertical view when you're looking for it kind of sucks. But the idea is that the vertical view is available for those that wouldn't typically be looking for the stream. But yeah, I mean, that's just how YouTube does it. So I would do it differently. But this is the simplest way to have a dual format stream. Sadly, it doesn't really make the vertical view all that discoverable. So when I've done vertical view live streams, vertical only in the past, YouTube tends to send those out a lot more so that they tend to get a lot more viewership. Whereas on these dual format streams, it seems much more restricted. Yeah, you got to kick your way through the scroll. Exactly. So in that way, it kind of sucks. So move some stuff out of the way here, and we're going to mix up a bunch of epoxy. You find some old cardboard boxes that I can mix it up on. And let's see, a little mixing stick from Pelado Stuff. And bring you over here so you get to see my beautiful 1-to-1 ratio of resin and hardener, whatever. Let's see, and that stems from the way the horizontal configure is done. Like, gotta shut this chat to do it. Gotta shut the chat again. So the dual format, the way this one works. Here, I'm going to put on some gloves first. The way this is supposed to work is that it integrates the chat for both horizontal and live. You can do 2 separate streams, one for horizontal and one for vertical, but the chat is not integrated. So all right, do that. I'm just kind of eyeballing here. I'm wondering if I want to try to do enough for all 8 feet, or I'm not sure how much this is going to be, but we'll get it mixed up. Usually I just use my mixing stick as my applicator. I'm not sure how well that's going to go on this. We'll find out. How well do you think this is getting mixed? Well, I think I'm going to call that good enough. We'll see how far this goes. So the tape dam, in theory, should protect everything but the end grain from epoxy, and hopefully helps to allow it to kind of self-level as well. So I think I've got it, that one fully covered. On to the next. I feel like I got more epoxy on that first foot than I did on this second one. Move some of it over. Yeah, I'm feeling like it's not really that liquidy to really be self-leveling all that well, but maybe it'll surprise me. What do you guys think? Is this a good method for trying to prevent moisture from wicking up through the end grain while it's sitting on the concrete driveway? Any other better ways to protect it from moisture wicking? What do you guys think? And sorry, I'm not monitoring the chat at the moment. so that I can hopefully get all this epoxy in place before it solidifies. We got limited time on this 5-ish minute epoxy. I don't think this is actually 5-minute epoxy, but still don't have a super long working time on this, or open time, I guess is maybe a better way to describe it. Yeah. Yeah, it's already starting to string out. Like that. And be careful not to get anything but the end grain here, but all right. Yeah. And doesn't really want to pick up anymore. So I think I'm going to try to smooth out what's been applied. Try to make sure I've got coverage over the whole foot. And then I will come check in on chat, see what you guys are saying about my technique and everything here. Feeling like I'm not getting quite into the corners here. Might have to go back over that one a little later. A little bit extra. Yeah, that one too, probably. All right. So, oh, wow. A lot of chat here. Let me check in on you guys. I'll force you to look at me while I read what I've missed here. I want to see what the description of the live is. Guess what, Buttercup? Close it again. Yeah, on mobile, I mean. Yep. It's really long overdue for an update. Hey, you found the vertical. Hey, nice. Hey, Miss Heather, thanks for being here. I think the warmer the epoxy is at onset, the more it self-levels. What the trade-off is, the less time you have before it kicks off. Yep. Yep. Heather, hey, Mike, hey, Pelado. Hola. ¿Cómo te va? Oh, an interesting development. Apparently have 2 more of those i7 Dell XPS towers on their way. Oh, okay. So what's the deal with those? Why do you have so many on the way? Hey, Mike, Taz River. Thanks for being here. No, you'll love it. I'm getting pretty decent computers free. Yeah, what's the deal on the free computers, Mike? This computer here was actually pretty much free to me. I think I told you the story before, but um, I had been using just a little spare laptop out here. It's my wife's old laptop, so it's a decade-ish old. And I was doing all right, but I was trying to run OBS and the streaming software and everything. But so I was asking a little too much of it, and I thought, you know what, I replaced my office computer recently, and my office computer had much better hardware. Um, I replaced it because it's Windows 10. It's not capable of Windows 11. So I thought, oh, what if I switch it to a Linux build, and then I could just use that office computer here for OBS. And I wanted to maximize the RAM on it. And so I called my brother, who he's in IT, and he often just has RAM lying around. And I looked online to see. So I think it would take up to 32 gigs of RAM, and it already had 16, but it had 4 sticks of 4 gigs each, and it only had 4 slots, right? So I would need to get up to 4 sticks of 8 gigs each to get to the 32 gigs. And I looked online. I was like, yeah, it's a little pricey. Let me see if my brother has anything lying around that'll fit that box. So I called him, and he's like, he said he didn't have it, but would I like a free computer, 64 gigs of RAM, and a better processor, and it's actually a server build, so it's in theory should be more stable and everything. So he gave me this. Let's see. Love that. Be the supplier for an established rage room, or do you got to bring your own stuff? Rage room is the place where they bash crap to get it out of your system. Sounds amazing. Looks like I've got a fly in here. Maybe I shouldn't have left the garage door open. Local call centers, offices, they write off the towers as e-waste. Give it to the rage room for destruction. Okay. Remove the hard drives, but processors, RAM, video cards from the case. Nice. Yeah. Now, I did splurge on some new hardware for this. Don't tell my wife. But I ended up getting a new video card for this computer, because in order to stream in 4K and record 2 separate streams in 4K, it definitely needed a little bit more oomph than what was already in the box. So, yeah. Speaking of which, how is the stream looking for you guys? Is it choppy? Is the video quality good? Is the audio quality good? Let me know in the chat. All right, I'm going to mix up some more epoxy here. So let me give you a view to a kill. See, buying a few Monster Energy drinks for the kid running the counter. Nice. All right, let me get, thanks, Mike. Claims that the stream is looking good, or great, rather, even better than good. I'll take that. Get some more gloves on, and mix up some more. There's definitely more epoxy there, but it is already hardened. So that. And just trying to eyeball 1-to-1 ratio here. That looks about right. I'm thinking maybe I stirred a little too much last time, so limited my open time. So I think I'm going to call that good. It definitely hardened. And okay, there we go. That should work mostly. All right. Primarily, I want good coverage. Make sure I'm getting all of the end grain covered. And then also want it to be somewhat level. And so for both of those goals, I want to get it on quickly before it starts hardening too much. Oh, come on. Trying to push it into the corners here, and it seems like it's just sticking on the top of the tape. I'm like, come on, get down to the actual end grain here. There we go. All right, now I'll try to get a little bit more here. And I think I'm going to need to do some sanding on this epoxy. In order to try to make it relatively level. Anyone have any fun plans for the day? Doing anything fun? Doing anything crazy? Get my corners there. All right, and I think that should be pretty much good. I'm going to add a tiny bit more on this one. Don't know that it needs it, but hey, why not? All right, and I'll start removing the tape from these guys that are more hardened. Kind of see the lip that it formed. Huh. Got a little sliver of tape stuck the epoxy there. All right, and on the other ones, since I just added more, I will let those soak a little. Actually, I won't. I'll take this one off. Okay. That one's still wet. Still wet. Pour some more into the areas that look like it might still be dry. And all right. All right. All right. And I will make my way over to chat as I let those set up a little bit more before I remove the tape. And let me find a new garbage bag. I just took out garbage last night. So for my little in-feed support, I guess, I just like to wrap my garbage right around there. Not the most elegant of solutions, but it mostly works for me. All right, let me see. I'm what I need to catch up on here. Oh, and then throw these gloves away as well. Okay. This palette of computers seems pretty good. Come by, take a look, grab a few. We don't have a thousand, they don't care. Nice. Maybe a small sync issue, could be me, but yeah, the image quality's been great. Yeah, I've had some difficulty with the audio sync. Let me switch you over to that view for the moment. It seems like this camera tends to be a little bit better on the audio sync than this camera. This one is connected via USB, whereas this one's connecting via Wi-Fi on the DroidCam OBS. So this one tends to wig out a little bit more than this one most of the time, except this one is the tracking camera, but sometimes it decides not to track just randomly. I'm not exactly sure why that is. Still trying to figure it all out. All right. Okay, make my statements make sense about them being on the way. The rest is I DoorDash the kid a burger, and he's like, dude, no problem. A couple have random video and all. Nice. Bring them by. What's your address? Yeah, it is a nice connection. Eternal cheapskate for life. I can identify with that. And I'm sure if someone has something to say, they want things to bash, okay, I can trade you some plate glass windows, an air fryer, CRT monitors. Does anyone have CRT monitors anymore? Um, not, not, just not the computers. Yeah, for real. Think outside the box, peeps. Yep. All right. Think that's enough time for those to set up? Not quite. Yeah, I think I'm going to need maybe just some 80 grit sandpaper or something to clean this stuff off. Try to get them back to level. But we'll see. What do you guys think so far? The idea is, oh man, see, I've got some water staining already on this guy. You know, because I've just had the pots on there. Um, so then it's kind of soaking through. So I'm just thinking to put some penetrating oil on the surfaces, and hopefully that's good. Let's see. I'm surprised the Wi-Fi cam works. Everything I was reading said Wi-Fi will have too much packet loss for streaming. Yeah, so I'm using, on this camera right here, I'm using Droidcam OBS. I tried using, what was the name of the other streaming solution? I can't remember what it's called. I removed it from the phone. But it was a browser-based RTMP system, and it was just taking way too much processing power on the computer to try and receive that, display that, record that. When I switched over to the Droidcam OBS, it just works a lot better. So it's communicating in whatever OBS wants to receive, and so you know, it works better. So let's see. No cell phone cameras kick the crap out of cameras these days. In most cases, that evade flashing. Some of the old Androids we upgraded from stuffed in a drawer, signed them into Wi-Fi. Yeah, you know what? I've got an old Samsung phone that I was going to try to repurpose into a shop camera, and started running into some trouble with it because it's so old that I couldn't. Well, I needed to refresh the firmware or something like that, and I needed to have it connected to a computer. I didn't really have the setup out here to do it, and so I was thinking, oh, I'll take it inside, take it to the office computer, you know, hook it up to USB, and then I just never got around to it. Instead, I've got this set up, so you know, whatever works. So let me see if I shouldn't probably be touching it with my bare hand here, but feeling dangerous. That's probably safe. Remove the tape. Let's see, where's my tape begin and or end here? There it is. Wow, I must have really got this on well. There we go. Got a corner lifted up. And I'm thinking I should put some gloves back on. It's somewhat dry, but I don't really want to epoxy my fingers together. So, guess I'm a little weird that way. A few prompts to consult the AI overlord and I will receive divination. Yeah, that's basically what I did. I chatted a lot with Copilot, which is what made me think that I should try this other system. I can't remember what it was because I was using DroidCam OBS before using this setup on the old laptop, and it seemed to work fine. And it's supposed to be able to stream in 4K. I don't know if it's actually streaming in 4K. That's what I've been sending to the YouTube server. So hopefully that's actually coming across. Sorry that you guys have to see me in 4K. No one probably needs that much visual detail of me. But I thought it might be better for being able to see the projects I'm working on. And come on, tape. So I wasn't really that pleased with Copilot's help. And it was encouraging me to use this other system that ended up being a lot of work and not a lot of benefit. Lots of time spent in front of the shop computer telling Copilot what was happening and then trying to make changes based on Copilot's recommendations. When I switched over and started talking to Gemini, things started getting better. Now that isn't necessarily going to be the case with all topics. That's definitely what it seemed like for my topics with regards to the DroidCam OBS. And a little bit of tape still stuck on there. Aren't those pretty? All right, let me check in on chat. Let's see. If Heather's still around, looks like she still is. That's been my life the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm here, says Heather. My message on the back end regarding AI had a bit of a revelation to make them work amazing. Excellent. My Taz River has been using just to distinguish between Mike is making stuff. Taz has been using Cloud Code to get 3 Raspberry Pis running cams over Ethernet to my computer. Not know Python, so it's been fun. Yeah, I don't know coding at all. I decided I was going to learn coding, and so I started using one of those free coding academy things online. And like the first lesson or two, I was like, this is really pretty simple. I understanding this. And then the next lesson, I was like, oh, I am not understanding this at all. Okay. Let's see. Do not know Python, so it's been, yeah, okay. Sadly, I think 4K is lost trying to do it. The feed for live, I think the feed is max 1080 at 60 frames per second. Yeah, so I'm trying to do 4K at 30 frames per second. We'll see. I was looking at the playback of my last live. I don't usually look at it too much, but I was looking this last time, and it seemed like the max that YouTube would replay it at was 1080p. So I was a little disappointed on that, since I worked so hard to get it to a 4K streaming and recording setup. It'd be nice if YouTube would actually use the 4K that I'm sending to it. Okay. Gotta find me on Facebook. Start a tech makers sub niche, super popular. Sister's busy making her own cyber deck. Same name. All right. Listening in the background, what software setup are you using now? So I'm using OBS. Let me just show you kind of on the back end here. So I will switch it to a camera that can actually show the feed or show the screen. There we go. So let me just kind of show you my whole setup. So I've got the computer on the shelf up here. I've got the Pixie tracking camera just hanging out on the monitor. I'm thinking that I might try to move this to the other side, but I need a super long USB cable to be able to do that. So in OBS, I've got kind of cool effect here. But down here, you've got your scenes. So I'll just put it off to the side so it's not quite as distracting, but maybe a little closer. So I've got 4 scenes set up, and you can make as many as you want, and you can adjust them as you go. So this is my S22 scene, which is my Galaxy phone. This is the Pixie scene right there. And then I've got 2 that combine the 2 feeds. So this one that has the S22 and the in the corner, and this one has the with the Pixie in the corner. For each of these, I've got my sources right here in this section under sources. So this one is the Pixie, the S22, the Pixie and the S22, and then the S22 and the Pixie. And then I have a global audio setup for my microphone, my USB Bluetooth microphone is how I have that set up. And so the audio mixer, I don't really do a lot there other than under the options and the settings. In my settings, I've got stream on. I've got my output set to, no, let's see. So video. So I've got video. It's all grayed out right now because I'm in the middle of a stream and recording. So I've got that set to 3840 by 2160. And audio, I've got to 48 kilohertz. And then, I mean, you can go into, spend a lot of time on the, we spent a lot of time trying to optimize those settings with Gemini. So that's been fun. And then in each of these scenes, so the S22 scene and the Amit scene, I can come in here to filters. And I've selected a source record for that scene. And so I have that set to a 4K recording and at 30 frames per second. And also spend a lot of time on Gemini trying to optimize those settings. And so right now I've got my stream recording it, or my stream going out at 4K. And then I've got my Pixie and my S22 recording in 4K all concurrently. So stream in 4K and then record two sources in 4K. And that should make it so that I've got all sorts of different options when I want to edit my videos later, because I'll take my live streaming content and mash it up to whatever. And then I use Davinci Resolve for the video editing. Hopefully that gives you a good overview of what I'm doing. Okay. Mike is making stuff, has a page. Yes, I can see you like or follow and can double back and find you. Nice. Jello, everyone. Hey, Joseph Keller, thanks for being here. Taz, Mike P, that's me. Thanks. I tried OBS, but it was lagging really bad because I have a crappy laptop. Yeah, so I initially had just a little laptop as well, and it was okay if I was just streaming. It was fine, right? But if I wanted to try recording, or if I wanted to stream in 1080p through OBS, it was fine. Trying to stream in 4K, not so much. It had a lot more difficulty with that. I didn't have the Pixie at the time, so it would have been with just a single camera, and it was still a little rough. But I mean, this is an old-ish computer, the Intel Xeon processor, because it's a server grade computer, and fair amount of RAM, and really the video card is what really makes it go. So without the video card, it'd be difficult to do what I'm doing. Very difficult. OBS has a high bar, system gobbling like mad. Probably true, comparably. OBS, Davinci Resolve. You ain't being kind to yourself at all, are you? I'm a big fan of free, right? And so I started with Davinci Resolve because the first video that I felt really needed some editing, because the first few videos that I did was basically just me talking and pointing the camera at stuff, talking about the the table saw or the bandsaw, or I think that was pretty much it. Right? And so once I got to a project, and I was like, I really need to cut stuff out, speed stuff up, whatever. I was like, I need some video editing software. So I just did a Google search. I'm like, what is good video editing software for YouTube videos? And it sent me to or pulled up a Reddit thread that was like, Reddit for, YouTubers, something or other. And they said, oh, hey, Davinci Resolve is great. It's got all these, all this capability, doesn't cost anything. And I was like, okay. So that's what I did. But then I found out that it does cost something because my office computer that I was using for the editing did not have enough oomph. And so I ended up getting a video card for that computer, and then it could handle Davinci Resolve. Otherwise, it wouldn't even open. And so I still have that video card. I switched that video card over, even though my new computer didn't need the video card in order to run Davinci Resolve, but it runs a lot smoother with the video card. And so I've got a nice video card in this one, a nice video card in that one, and going pretty well. Hey, Rhinestone Suzanne has entered the building. Thanks for being here, Suzanne. Free just means we spend more time making it work right. Yeah, spend more time, and also, video cards, paying for video cards. So that's what I do now. What about it? Yeah. Yep. Let's see, Suzanne. Hey, Tess. Hey, Joe. Poke. Sup, Mike. Sweet. All right. So these should be dry enough, I hope, to start our next process of, I think, just trying to sand them off a little bit. So I think I'll just use a hand sander, and let's see, I've got 120 grit on there right now. I think I'll switch that to 80. Actually, let's see. And I think those are the ones that I put on first. So just try to keep it relatively level as I sand this off. It's definitely along the edges where I had the tape dam installed. It is, the epoxy is a lot taller on those edges. Now, one of these, the first one that I assembled, I rushed it a bit, and so I didn't have really any of the support mechanisms constructed yet. And so they did not stand up all that well. And I've just sanded away the corner of the epoxy there and exposed it to the raw end grain. Just basically the opposite of what I wanted to do. Can you guys see that? Oh. So right on this corner, I've got some exposed end grain. All right, that's probably flat enough for the moment. So the idea here is that I'm trying to prevent the end grain feet from soaking up a lot of moisture. So I just put some epoxy down to act as a barrier so that it doesn't soak up any water. And now I want to sand these down a little bit so that the feet are still relatively level. On one of them, the first one I assembled, it was pretty wobbly because I didn't, oh, it looks like this corner didn't get epoxy either. So, yeah. Shame on me. The second one I assembled, you know, I made all of the all of this support system before I put it all together, and so it's not nearly as wobbly. So I'm hoping that this epoxy doesn't mess up the nice one. And if I dare myself, I'll hope that that not only does it not mess up the nice one, but that it somewhat helps level the other one. Okay. I wonder if I should dare use the random orbital sander on this. Make it go a lot faster, but I also don't want it to eat through the entire epoxy layer. That would kind of defeat the purpose. Okay, it looks like I've got a little bit of exposed corner there too. So it seems like my tape dam protected the rest of the wood, so it didn't seep down, but I didn't quite get it all the coverage I wanted. Let's see. Taz River, still using Windows 10, but migrating that to Linux. And stay out of trouble, Mike. Funny Suzanne, no Mike has ever stayed out of trouble. Eventually find our way to YouTube. Funny, just trying to be that angel on your shoulder. Nice. See, Pinky on one side, the brain on the other. Time for another round of epoxy, possibly. Hey, Lions, thanks for being here. What you up to? So I am. So I made these plant stands for the misses on a live stream on let's see, Saturday night to Sunday morning, depending on where you are in the world. And so now I've just put some epoxy on the feet so that they will not soak up the moisture. And then when I finish with sanding those down a little bit, I might need to put a little bit of extra epoxy on a couple different spots. But my idea is also to put on a penetrating oil finish to help protect the redwood as well. Redwood, it has some some natural anti-rot properties, but I think the penetrating oil will make them look even nicer and hopefully also protect them. So that's the idea. All right. Yeah, Lions has entered the chat. Exactly. Sand Mike, more power, Pelado. Yeah, more power. Yeah, got to sneak up on it. Yeah, elbow grease. You know me, Lions. I'm more about the power than the elbows. Oh, other Mike. And a good idea it is. Which is the good idea, Mike? Which is the good idea? All right. Get a little closer with Arid Extra Dry. You guys remember those jingles from our youth? Might need new sandpaper here. We'll just go faster. Going faster always makes it better, right? Looks like I got good coverage on this one at least. That I'll probably mess up by going too fast and sanding through. All right. Let's see. Am I making it so you can't see? Got little bits of epoxy flying everywhere. Uh-oh. Someone is trying to call. Oh, but that looks like a spam call. So I am not worried about that at all. Sometimes I don't understand these spam callers because the same people will call, the exact same message repeatedly on a day. And thankfully, I have a lot of those just going straight to voicemail. But then when I listen to the voicemail, I'm like, why? Why do you guys do these? I mean, obviously, they just have like robocalls set up. So it's not, well, some of them do. Some of them, it's actual people on the line. Like, wow. I would not want to do that with my life. I already have, actually, back in when I was saving up for college, I was working a second job, or maybe it was a third job, doing surveys at night. And that was amazing. I don't remember what all of the surveys were about, but I remember a couple of them were politically related. One was about a referendum. So we were calling all of the people that had signed up for, putting a referendum on the ballot or something like that. And it was interesting hearing the responses from people that would tell them what we were calling about. And they're like, I didn't sign up for that. What are you talking about? It's like, okay, well, either they just don't remember signing up for it, or someone used their name inappropriately. It's like, this is interesting to learn. Never know about political processes like that. And I mean, maybe people were just trying to get out of the survey, but it's not like they had to do a survey because they had signed up on the referendum or whatever. They could just as easily have said, no, I signed up for that, but no, I don't want to be on your survey. Okay. Okay, on these two spots, I think it was just two. On these two spots where I've got a little bit of burn through, I guess we'll call it, where I've got some exposed end grain there and then a tiny bit over here. Oh, actually, no, I guess I've got a tiny bit there, but then also on this one, I wonder if I can get away with not applying more epoxy, because that, those tiny little pieces in theory wouldn't be in contact with the ground because of the epoxy layer that would elevate it, but probably still have enough water contact to soak stuff up, so probably should do it. Although, to be fair, I wasn't planning to do any kind of water protection. So, let's see here. All of your ideas are natural typhoons of brilliance. Oh, Mike, that's so sweet of you to say. I mean, completely wrong, but so sweet of you to say. He's always stuck in my head now. You're welcome. Well, aren't you glad you used dial? Don't you wish everybody did? And the soft sanding pad will always grab the corners more than the center. Why is that? So sick of Facebook Messenger. Yeah, I understand that. I rarely use it. See, I'm not the only one that's seeing stuff like that in my head while I'm making it. Yep. Please tell me they don't call and immediately hang up after you answer. Oh, I get a bunch of those, but which is even more puzzling to me. I'm like, why did you call me if you're not even going to even try to sell me on whatever it is that you're trying to sell, or scam me for what it is you're trying to scam me. Like, just annoying. When the spam calls, I have time, I start asking them what they want me to make and the credit card numbers, deposit. Been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. Thankfully, I haven't had many of those lately. It's been a while, I think, since I've last seen or heard an extended warranty spam call. Most of you know my day job. If you get a call, you answer, say hello, and hangs up. Danger. Yeah, I was just reading about that, Mike. That even saying hello can be a problem. Hey, Mike, making sure Cobus is here. Mike is making stuff. You could just give rubber feet. I could, but I would have to acquire said rubber feet, and I've already got the epoxy, right? So, soft sanding pad flexes around the corners when you push down. Huh. Okay. Don't even answer calls. I don't know. That's probably smart. But where I'm a small business owner, I don't want to leave potential clients or existing clients. Sometimes I don't have their numbers in my phone or whatever, so I'll still answer, and probably not the smartest, but whatever. If it calls and hangs up after hello, it's an AI vocal trainer indicator that a bad actor has at least a portion of your data and they're using your hello and all the yelling you do. Training to mimic your voice. Yeah, I tend not to do any yelling. So I'll say hello, and then if they don't say anything, then I'm out. I try to say as little as possible if they don't say anything on their end. And Tim List is in the house. Hello, everybody, from Tim. Thanks for being here. All right, so let me just see how level these guys seem. So try flipping them over. Now, to be fair, one of them was already pretty wobbly, and one has a little bit of a wobble to it. And that one has a lot more of a wobble to it. So let's see. And of course, the two legs that are 2 feet that don't need any more epoxy are the ones that are shortest. So and the one that I've already sanded through is longer, but I can sand this one a little more. I don't want to put too much downward pressure on this because I do have some brad nails that I put through there, but otherwise it's just a little bit of glue, and I didn't get a great joint on that, so I don't want to put too much pressure on it. On the other one, I tried putting some nails through, but this is a thinner piece than this one, and the nails mostly just missed, so I ended up removing them. All right, let's see if that's any better. Not really. Not noticeably anyway. So, whatever. Okay. That is the same reason I don't have spam filter on email. Never know when a new customer will email. Yeah. Tough to send potential new business away. Pelado, Mr. Ignore Wes Does It comments. Good to see you, Wes. Thanks for being here. Thought I read your comments earlier, Wes. But complicated sanding, hard to catch all the chat. Yeah, sanded definitely. Those were great Mother's Day pictures. Yeah, they were. That is true, Wes. I did see some photography from Disney. Looked like a happy family. Sounded like you were doing a lot to ingratiate yourself with the missus and in-laws and everything, making meals and all the stuff. So maybe you're just a good person. That can't be it. All right. So mix it up a little. Hey, how's everyone doing? Did we hear anything about big plans for this Tuesday? Anyone have anything exciting happening? All right. I think on these, I am just going to call it good enough. And I'm going to vacuum up this resin residue and move on. All right. And Joseph asks, if you've sealed it with epoxy, wouldn't it still stay sealed even if you have some wood grain exposed? I'm not sure how epoxy works. Mostly. So on these guys, they'll be sitting on the epoxy, but still have some exposure to, so for these ones that have the end grain still exposed, so there's a tiny little bit right here of exposed end grain. So it'll be mostly sitting on that epoxy surface. And so that end grain wouldn't be, in theory, in contact with the concrete. But if it gets wet right there, it could still seep up the moisture. So, it's not perfect, not ideal, but it's as good as I'm going to worry about for now. So I'm going to turn on my air compressor and try to get all of the residue off. Okay. Now I think we'll move on to our next. Hey, Roy's here. Thanks for being here, Roy. Let's see. Let's see. And now, great. Oh, thanks, Wes. Today, let's see. It looks like I need to tie my shoes a little better. They sitting at work, mailing out stickers to everyone who emailed me. Sweet. Oh, why didn't I email you? Let's see. I thought this was the big plan. Have everyone here except that Bourbon Moth guy. Yeah, strangely, I don't think I've seen Bourbon Moth Woodworks in my chat before, but maybe someday. Up to Something Outdoors is here. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Up to. Hello, Something Outdoors. Roy's Timber Art is here. Hello, everyone. Suzanne, we all saw the pic you put up on YouTube. Oh, yeah, we did. When is the calendar coming out? Asking for a friend. That's funny. Let's see. And that was a pretty cool picture. No calendar, but that would be fun. But you would sell out fast. I think so. Now I think was it My Honey's Handmade that came out with a similar picture, I think. Pretty interesting. Um, let's see. Oh, Mike, had to check out what I apparently missed. Was look great. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, was that you, Steve, that put the other pictures out? Um, Steve's calendar would sell out quicker. How about a collab? Yeah, little Rhinestone Suzanne and Steve joint calendar. That could break sales records. Um, 12 months. And more pinups. Nice. Bring out a calendar challenge. Let's do it. Mr. Roy, can you email me your address, please? Okay, he's up for the calendar you're sending me. Yes, I think a lot of things, but pretty interesting isn't one of them. Oh, you're pretty interesting. All right, let me tie the shoe because apparently I didn't tie very well earlier. And by earlier, I mean however many weeks ago it was that I tied them and then just slip my feet in and out. All right, I think it's time for my penetrating oil finish. So let me get something to stir with because it's not supposed to be shaken, stirred, unlike James Bond's preferred drinks. Stirred, not shaken. I think I'll use an actual painting stick here, paint stirring stick. Oh, but I also need to grab the opener. Let's see if I can track one down here. Don't need my USB-C cable sticking out right there. I'll get some gloves again. And I've got the garage door open, but I'll also open up this guy. Get some nice airflow. And move stuff out of the way here. This is just a Penafin penetrating oil. You know what? I think I might still have a smaller container of this that maybe I should have gone to first, but whatever. How much stirring is enough stirring? Anyone know? We'll call that good enough. And I probably should have put something underneath this. So I'll just find an old Amazon box here. Or you know what? I think maybe even better is I'll just move one of the plant stands out of the way and then put this onto the same tarp. There we go. That way, hopefully, I'm not dripping anywhere. All right, I'll just use a foam brush. Yep, it was you. Yeah. Let's see. Let's say Steve's ample nature might be just a touch understated. Steve is awesome. Agreed. Don't sell yourself short, Steve. You're a brick house. Those legs, no kidding. Steve's a brick house. Don't reach all the way to the damn floor, don't they? They sure do reach all the way to the damn floor. Same thing. Do, don't, whatever. Doesn't skip leg day. Roy sent his address. Suzanne will be right back. Thank you. Get the sticker mailed out. Sweet. We got all sorts of stickers getting distributed. Let me switch scenes for y'all. And let's see how this does. I've already got some water staining up here that I'm not even going to worry about. But as showing earlier, so this is redwood and just using a penetrating oil. This redwood actually came from old deck boards that I salvaged from someone who was just getting rid of them. Someone apparently did not like their deck anymore. And that was fine by me. What do you guys think of the effect of the penetrating oil here? Kind of amazing how far an oil finish like this will go. Um, Really want to get that end grain nice and covered. Speaking of end grain, got some more right there. Yeah. I don't want to waste all this oil that's running down. So I should probably check out the chat here shortly, but I want to get this coat of oil on without having too much time run away from me, because my understanding is that the oil, if you do part and then come back to it later and without having covered the whole thing, can leave some artifacts. So I would prefer not to do that. So instead, I'll just ask again what you guys think of the color. I am pretty pleased with how it's coming out. I think it's really drawing out that natural redwood look. And in theory, this should protect it from, kind of graying out and looking more bland over time. But my understanding is that it will need additional coats of penetrating oil in the future. I'm a big fan of not finishing wood or just using like a spray shellac. I used to use spray lacquer a fair amount, but I've got some stuff that I'm not that pleased with so far. It's supposed to be a the new Deft lacquer, but it just doesn't spray out of the cans very well in my experience so far. So a very uneven coverage. It's Prolux, I think is the name. I've been disappointed so far. Try to get the end grain here a little bit better. The end grain of this pattern, of this panel. All right. I think I'm supposed to be using long, sustained brush strokes on applying this, but probably best practice. But I'm not too worried about it. All right, and what do you guys think of the bracing on this? I will admit it's not the greatest ever, but it seems to be working. It was pretty haphazard, kind of figuring it out as I went. Well, I guess I didn't even get that internal part at all there. Shame on me. like I don't have to worry too much about some of the underside of the corners here because of all the glue squeeze out that I didn't sand away as much as maybe I should have. All right. I think that's basically covered. So I will let that soak in for a minute and take a quick chat break. See what you guys have been saying about me while I've been going on that. Then we'll move on to the other stand. Okay. Let's see, it doesn't skip leg day, send us email, be right back. Okay. Am I using OBS? Yes, I am. We talked about that a little bit earlier. How do I stream vertically? Oh, so let me see if, okay. So in the back end of YouTube Studio, when you go to Studio and up here you say create and live. If you come into your stream settings, there's an option here for dual stream, new, and you toggle that on, and then it will automatically take your horizontal feed and make a vertical feed as well. I need to tighten this guy up a little bit because he's a little crazy. Um, so so yeah, so if you use that dual format toggle button, stream in horizontal, and it'll automatically crop your middle third basically for your vertical view. So let me come back over and give you another view of my screen here. Oh, let me get back over to Studio. So it'll give you a preview of both screens when you do it that way. And I'm on a bit of a delay. So because I'm trying to stream in 4K, it's not very instantaneous. So I've got like a 20 or 30-second lag between what I send out and what you see. I'll swing back over here, swing back over there. Okay. Tim's got to go. Oh no. Sorry, Tim. Hope you have a great day. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Not bad. Looks amazing. Oh, thanks. I like tongue oil. Yeah, so this is a penetrating oil that, let's see, what's actually in it. I don't know. contains petroleum distillate and probably some other stuff. Yeah, so it says 99% UV protection, Brazilian rosewood oil for furniture, railings, decks, boats, docks. Okay. Tongue oil, okay. Missed a spot? Oh, he missed it a spot. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha, Taz River. In the outgoing mailbox now. Sweet. What we think doesn't matter. It's what Mrs. Pelado thinks that matters. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't upset her too much. Hey, Calvin, thanks for being here. Calvin Seaton in the house from Dad's Workshop, everybody. Okay. For information, Virginia Weather still has ADHD. Virginia Weather or VA Weather or thaw weather. That's about video quality. Phone cam is getting a little lag or choppy randomly. Yeah, it does that. I've noticed in some of my playback that sometimes it'll skip some frames. I think it's working maybe a little too hard. I should probably just turn it down to 1080p and just have a cleaner, in theory, a cleaner feed. But yeah. And PixieCam audio slightly out of sync with the video. Yeah, I think both of them are slightly out of sync, and I think it varies as well because my audio is independent of both cameras, and so I think both of them at times are a little bit out of sync, sometimes more so than others. But yeah, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that. All right, I think I'm caught up on chat, so I will put on a new set of gloves and go at this second stand. All right. Go. Try that. And I'm going to start it with it upside down this time. And see how that does. Oh, got a bug there. I don't want in my work product. Guess I'm just weird that way. I feel like this is a lot easier to get the inside of these when they're splayed out like this. When it's upside down rather than right side up. All right. I think based on, was it Mike? One of the mics? Based on what you were saying about doesn't matter what you guys think, what matters is what Mrs. Pelado thinks. I think she actually will like these being a deeper, darker color. Um, I told her earlier that I wasn't going to finish them because redwood is naturally rot resistant. And I wouldn't say that she looked disappointed, but I think she was hoping that more was going to happen. So hopefully she appreciates a little bit of extra effort into the finish. And in addition to making the green pop a little bit more and everything, this is also supposed to help prevent the redwood from graying, which is what had happened previously when under their previous life as just deck boards. What do you guys think of the V groove in the middle of each of these boards on all sides? The missus wanted more visual interest than just looking like a 2x4s. So I got some positive feedback from her on the appearance. And I think because these had a previous life as deck boards, that they're probably pretty dry and pretty thirsty. I don't know that I'm going to be, when I go to wipe off any excess, I'm not really expecting to get a lot of excess. I'm putting the oil on a little thicker this time around versus on the first one. Maybe I should have been a little more generous on that one, but seemed like it was going really far and didn't want to have too much cleanup to have to do. Get the end grain there really well. Right. All right. Flip it over. Get that end grain again. And then already got a fair amount of oil on the top surface just from resting earlier, but let's get a nice thick coat of oil on there. And end grain, side grain, or edge grain, whatever. I was actually pretty pleased with how my panel glue up ended up. Got some nice tight joints on the panel, more so than I was expecting. And I think I'm okay to just toss the foam brush. Maybe I should have put the lid back on before taking the gloves off. And get a nice seal on that. Put the paraffin. Oh, you know what? I think I want to smack right in here a little better. There we go. Put the paraffin away. And then I'll start wiping as I knock over all the boxes. It'll be all right. All right, let me check up on chat. Okay, Wi-Fi dropping packets. Yeah, likely. Get ready for an appointment. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for being here. Let's see how the tracking sometimes doesn't track. But all right. So let me switch out. Get my gloves back on here, and get some clean rag that can then be discarded. Might have to cut something up here. I think it says to use lint-free rag, but I'm not really going to worry about that. Just use what I got. There we go. All right. I'll set this one over for now and start on this guy. right. And I'll let the oil soak into this one a little bit longer before removing it. And yeah, likely is the Wi-Fi issue. So might be wise for me to cut the phone camera down to 1080p instead of trying to force it to do the 4K. But we'll see. Let me put some of my stuff away here while I wait for that to be ready. Oh, looks like my sprinklers are, sounds like my sprinklers are coming on. Get my paint can opener and stirring stick over by my paint supplies. Put some of the boxes back how they were. And Epoxy can go away. Oh, guess I should have put this stuff away earlier too when I was headed over there. And I'm back. All right. So I'll get some more gloves. Fresh set. All right. And start wiping away on this too. It's had long enough to set, right? It didn't soak in yet. It's its own fault. Should have known it had limited time to soak. And spread that out a little. And let me give you a hopefully better look at those plant stands. Well, I think they look better than they did before. And in theory, they should be better protected from the elements with that layer of penetrating oil. Look excellent. And this is better. Like, yeah, she better like them. She's in big trouble. Oh, looks like my tracking camera decided to stop tracking again. I'm going to have to figure out why that changes modes automatically. But hey, there you are. Okay. Let's see. So the only other thing I was thinking was to have something, some sort of barrier between the pots and the top of these so that there's some evaporative qualities so that it doesn't, so the water doesn't just sit there. It has a chance to evaporate and not damage the top like it has been. You can see it already has, just since, you know, Sunday morning, there's already some, you know, some water staining. You can kind of see right in there. And then a little water staining right in there. So I like to think of something that I can put in there, put on between them that would prevent that staining. Let's see. Need a white dot on my forehead so I can track you. Maybe that might be good. I figure my forehead's large enough that it should be able to track me regardless of white dots. But I mean, is there not enough here to be able to see? Maybe it's reflective. So it's like, oh, there's so much glare, I can't really tell where I'm supposed to be aiming. What'd you miss? You missed so much, Mike. But let me show you the oiled up plant stands. Okay, just potentially injuring myself here, just to get you these amazing shots where I keep kicking the bottom of the tripod as I'm moving it around. So anyway, that's kind of what they look like. and pick up that spare lumber. Okay. Infrared tracking is being blinded. Is that what you're saying? Could very well be. I mean, a lot of glare. I got to figure it out. I got to figure out, and that triggered my inner know-it-all. I am needed. Ah, look great. Look great, dude, meaning, dude, you look great, or the work product looks great. All right, so then the only other thing was putting something in there that will protect it. Do I have? Oh, yeah. I've got some little slivers of redwood here. Some offcuts. So I was thinking I could make cut a few slivers of redwood and then just place those on top. Have like 4 of these slivers on each of them, and then that raises the pot up so it's not directly on the panel that I just oiled and putting my hand on it. Seems pretty dry though. Yeah. And so if I just have like a 1/2 inch tall, then that elevates it, and hopefully my the top of my panel doesn't have as much exposure to the elements, especially water. What do you guys think? Is that a good plan? Bad plan? Terrible plan? All of the above. You absolute beast. Thank you, Mike, is making stuff. I appreciate your lies. Let's see. Taz River, not that far behind. The tripping hazard is the main reason I switched from USB to computer to Ethernet and get rid of the tripod and made an overhead boom for the camera. Yeah, I should do something like that. But a lot of effort, isn't it? Yeah. Let me just cut up some little bits of redwood here. I think I'll do it on the table saw because this is kind of a small piece. I don't really want to be working with this small of a piece on the miter saw. And if I do it this way, I can use my stop block. And let me make sure that it's at least 4 inches here. So I've got enough length to do 8 1/2-inch pieces as I head over to the workbench and forget what I was doing. Hey, you know, almost exactly 4 inches, which means I'm going to lose some in my kerf. So maybe I'll make it just a tad under 1/2 inch. We'll do about 7/8. Not 7/8, sorry. 3/8. Actually, no, that's 7/16, I think. So let me get my eye protection and ear protection. Hey, Billy, thanks for being here. And plug in ye old table saw. And find something that I can use to help stabilize. That should work. This is some of the excess from the panel glue up. All right. And hopefully I can get my blade high enough to cut the whole thing. I'm pretty sure I can because I'm pretty sure I did the other day. That should be good enough. There we go. Well, looks like I didn't account for enough kerf loss there. Should have gone to 3/8 apparently. So I got 6, which is going to be enough anyway. So I say one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Hopefully that's enough to balance the pots. So let's see if that's going to work. Hope everyone's doing well today. I do too, Billy. Let's see. Good plan. Last live, I almost pulled my computer off its stand and it did damage the USB port. Yeah, that's not great. All right, so let me get the table saw out of the way and then I'll bring the pots, flower pots over and see if this plan is going to work or not. I might need to adjust the spacing of those blocks a little bit in order to make sure that the flower pots are stable on there. Okay. Okay, that seems fine. And probably better if I angle them Definitely be better if I had 4 on each of them instead of 3. And also be better if my tripod wasn't so wobbly here. I need to figure out how to tighten this guy back up. He's all over the place. Rusty makes an appearance. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, Professor Rusty. So here's kind of the effect. Like I said, I wish the camera wasn't so freaking wobbly on this tripod. I've got an extension here that allows me to, flex it around like this. But the joint where that comes together has become super wobbly over time. So I'm gonna have to open it up and see if I can't make it a lot better. So, because that's just so annoying to have it constantly wobbling around. Your only day off during the week? Hey, well, thanks for spending it with us. Sure you could have selected all sorts of other things to do with your time, and appreciate that you're choosing to spend your time with us, Professor Rusty. Appreciate it. So Billy mailed your new sticker today. Sweet. Pretty flowers. Yeah, that's my wife's selection. She thought they looked nice. My tracking cameras apparently doesn't want to show the flowers as much, but let's see if I can get a nice view. And then the other pot actually is filling in better, in the middle at least. And she was pleased to have these darker red flowers coming in. She likes the variety. So not too shabby, right? Ooh, nice. All right, so let me go take them outside and I'll let you see them in their natural habitat. Potentially. Kick the chair out of the way here. And lose one of my blocks. All right, and then is this the more wobbly or the less wobbly? I think that one, sadly, might be my less wobbly. So I'll put that one over here for now. And go fetch the rest of the stuff. All right. And I need to pull that back a little. All right, so there's one of our hanging plants. And let me put you over on the other primary camera. And let's see. I have some like that, petunias, but black. Okay. Yeah, these are petunias as well. Field trip, yeah. You're back. Grab your leftover fillet. Nice. All right. And then I will take the other one over here. This one's a little bit trickier. Ooh. Because my ground is a little less even on this side. So do this. All right, I think that's relatively stable. So I'll get the other flower pot. Looks great in the sunshine. Thanks. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate that positive feedback. If anyone has any negative feedback, they're welcome to share that as well. It's not just the positive stuff that we accept here at Pelado Creations. And I'm going to twist this around so that some of the red flowers are showing. And hopefully position it so that it is squarely on my oh. There we go. And let me close the old garage door so y'all can see what it looks like with both of them displayed from a distance. There we go. Come to the center line here. What do you guys think? Good enough? Let me see if I've got that on there. Is centered? Nope, not as centered as I thought earlier. Then what about this guy? It's pretty close. All right. And come around the side here, show off the fire pit and garden boxes and garbage cans. This is the fire pit bench that I made out of an old log that was sitting here when we got here. An old log, and then those are just some some pieces of wood from the fire wood pile that repurposed as legs. These are some other benches that I made out of that same log, but I didn't really think about the laws of physics when I made the legs, and so those ones are not stable. So I still need to fix those. And then this stump was already here, but this is from the willow tree I cut down. This one was already here, but then these two are both from the willow tree I cut down. And then these are the garden boxes. See some of the, we've got the chicken wire over the top to try and prevent the squirrels from digging things up. And just watered, as you can, might have heard the sprinklers earlier. I know I did. You can see the water not sticking to the garden boxes. And then here's where the corn has been the last couple of years, and the mint that won't die. So I'm thinking to dig some of the mint up and put it in some pots. My wife wants to hold on to the mint because she thinks it'll help keep the squirrels away, but I'm not so sure. So, and then over here, I've got a bunch of pear wood that I'm going to be milling on the bandsaw. Got cherry limb that recently cut off of my cherry tree because it was in need of being cut off. Bunch of sycamore that I also am going to mill up on the bandsaw. But these guys I'm probably going to have to cut down into smaller segments before I move them to the bandsaw. This is a big chunk of willow remaining from the tree that I started to cut up, but hit metal a few different times, so stopped. This is where the willow tree used to be. Kind of see some of the remnants there. And now I've got a little apple tree that's taken its place, and a little cherry tree, some lilacs, and other cherry tree, and a river birch that I kind of want to get rid of, and irises that have not bloomed, much to my wife's chagrin. It's her favorite flower. And so she wants these irises to bloom, and they've just been green. So I do have some roses coming in, but the roses are not what she cares the most about. So then we've got some hammocks set up and some more willow offcuts. So I'm planning to use these as turning blanks now that I've got the lathe operational. So if you want to see me turning some willow, that is to come. And we're back in the shop. But now, without our plant stands or our plants. Hope you're not too sad that we have lost the plants and stands. All right, well then what's next? Probably what's next is in-feed and out-feed support on my bandsaw, but I'm probably not going to do that today. Let's see, looks amazing, love them. Oh, thanks, Suzanne, appreciate it. Wood, it's round, it's a seat, it's a log. Nice. Thanks, everybody. All right, so I think that wraps it up for me. I will see you all next time. In the meantime, I'm going to let this oily rag dry, nice and spread out, not crumpled up and near other combustible materials. Be sure not to leave your oil-based stains and rags and stuff where they might spontaneously combust and cause nasty fires. All right. Thanks everybody for being here. And if you haven't already if you haven't put a like on the stream yet, go ahead and do that before it's too late. If you haven't already subscribed and you want to, feel free. It's free. And you hit the notification button to find out when I'm doing things. And what else is there? Oh, memberships. So if you're not a member yet and you would like more of this, feel free to join a membership. You get early access to videos. You get some of the insider stuff on some of what we were talking about today with the, let's see, the camera setups. There we go, tracking camera. It followed me out that way and it didn't realize that I'd come in this way. So now it sees me. So we go a little bit more in depth on the back end, how to set things up, and at least how I set things up, maybe best practices or better practices, and perhaps more so than anything, what not to do, what I've learned doesn't work. And let's see, and game over. And before you go, Jackie asked me to find out if it was your wife that likes to sew. Not really. My daughter likes to sew. So we got her a mannequin that she uses. And so she made like her own dress, like this like 1950s housewife type dress. And she wore it to, various occasions and stuff. But yeah, she likes to sew. There's a lady in our neighborhood that is quite good, and so she spent a lot of time over there, kind of learning from her and stuff. So yeah, so she's our oldest daughter, who is younger than our only son. So we have a son, daughter. So it's not the daughter who was in the pediatric intensive care unit recently. It's the daughter who was in the pediatric intensive care unit about 16 years ago. So the reason for her visit was somewhat similar, actually, to our youngest daughter that was in the PICU recently. Our older daughter got her tonsils and adenoids removed when she was like 3-ish, 2 or 3, and while she was in the hospital after the surgery, she aspirated and got fluid in her lungs, and so they moved her over to the PICU. Thankfully, it was just for that one night, and they were doing a lot of the same treatments that they did for my youngest daughter a few months ago when she was in the PICU, but for much longer, 3 weeks instead of one night. So, but yeah, it's my daughter, not my wife. My wife isn't that into sewing. I have no clue who Jackie is thinking of then. That is nothing new. How's the youngest going now? Oh, she's doing really well. She's, when she first got extubated, when they first pulled the tube out, she had been sedated for 3 weeks, essentially 19 days. She'd been, intubated, sedated. So she had very little strength. She had her vocal cords bent out of shape, so she couldn't talk. She couldn't really control her hands, her arms, whatever. So it was really difficult for her to communicate those first few days before her voice started to come back. And she couldn't walk. She couldn't, get a drink herself. Just pretty rough when she first got extubated. Now she can walk, she can talk, um, and as a teenager, it's not always the best that she can talk, but we like her being able to communicate with us. Um, and yeah, overall, she's doing really well. She's still going to physical therapy and speech therapy. Speech therapy mostly just to, kind of get her voice stronger and um, just be able to enunciate a little bit better. And then physical therapy, mostly similar reasons for endurance and just strengthening some of those muscles that didn't get used for a few weeks. So, but yeah, overall she's doing really well, and she's at school right now. And we did pare back her schedule at school because she missed um, let's see, 38 days I think she was in the hospital, and so she missed a month and a half, 2 months of school, and so we pared her schedule back to just her core classes and her ceramics class. And so she's pretty much all caught up on everything, doing well. Yeah, she's doing great. I hope you get to hear her laugh many more times every day. Oh yeah, yeah, she's definitely laughing nowadays. Usually, whenever she watches any Pelado Creations content, she's like just laughing at me. So anyway, all right. Hey, thanks everybody for being here, and I'm gonna call it good, and we will